Yeah. We get lit, we get fly, we get drunk, we get high. But to the masses, we a podcast called Verified. I'm your host. I am JopauL. Make sure you check out the verifiedpodcast.com. We're sponsored by Radio Pushers and Results No Hype. And we are also sponsored by our very, very new sponsored Private Reserve Farms, the elite of the elite when it comes to cannabis consumption. You will never find weed like this anywhere in America. So Private Reserve Farms East to be exact. And right now we have a very, very special guest. We have she could only be described as a true survivor because she's been through so much in her life and there's nothing that can keep her down. She literally gets up and comes back 10 times better than when you motherfuckers try to keep her down. You've seen her in Love and Hip Hop. You've seen her on Instagram. She's a champion for domestic violence. She's a champion for mental health. The one and only, the beautiful Queen Chrissy Monroe. Thank you so much for taking your time out to be here with us today.
Of course, Joe. You know I love you. Yes.
I love you too. I love you too. And it's so funny too because it's like it's been so long since we've had a chance to like really chop it up, and like kind of discuss everything that kind of happened, which we'll get into that later.
With these fucking industry crazies.
Yes, we have to talk about that because because I also feel, and for my audience, I will get to it. It will make sense eventually. The fact that, this person, was able to manipulate and take over your life, what I'm saying, and basically put you in a position where it's like, it almost cost us our friendship. Thank God we could see through the bullshit and we know that she was a fucking crazy lunatic. But
yeah, we got to get into that later for the viewers because she was really good at what she did as far as on a business end, but then she was a fucking total like another side, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I don't want to say schizophrenic because that's nothing to laugh at, but I believe she definitely was a paranoid schizophrenic. But that woman really did a good job as far as emailing, bookings, writing letters. Then she was doing a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, just some crazy shit. But I am much happier that I am out of that web, and as good as she was, yes. my mental health and my mental peace is worth so much more than even attempting to make it in this crazy freaking industry. So
you know what that leads back to, or what I've been going through lately. Like you mentioned, I have the domestic violence. I champion for domestic violence. I have my own nonprofit. I have my own brand, Serving Looks, which is cosmetics, skincare, apparel. Now it's jewelry and lingerie. So I have no help. I cannot. I have one person, and I pay her very well to help me with my web shit. But besides that, you can't even pay people. They don't want to work, or they say they can do things that they can't do, and then they mess your stuff up 10 times worse, and you got to go back and fix it, or try to get someone else to fix it and pay double.
Yeah, there's nothing that I hate more than somebody that over promises and under delivers. I mean, we're in an industry that people talk a very, very good game, but then when it all, comes down to it, it's like, this is what you said you were going to be able to do, and you guaranteed it, and this is the contract and such, but you're really a bean shooter, and you could just type up something really good on the internet, and take a boilerplate from somebody else and just put in your own little lingo and jargon. The bottom line is, if you can't do what you say you're going to do, don't even offer your services. That's it.
And that's okay. Whenever I do find somebody to hire, I say, what can you do and what can't you do? Not everybody can do everything. Don't feel some kind of way if you can't do something. I'd rather you be honest and upfront if you can't do something than to waste my fucking time.
That's a fucking fact. Because you don't have it. Time is our biggest luxury, especially with, I know that you wear many hats and you have a whole bunch of things that you're into. And we know in this entertainment world that to have multiple streams of revenue is the only way to really survive. So it's like we kind of don't have time to weed through the bullshit. So it's like we kind of just hope and pray that out of respect, people just come correct rather than try to weasel or bamboozle their way in, and really can't do a goddamn thing to really help you.
Every day, all day, every day. And you know it. And then people hit me up. Oh, do you manage people? I don't even have a manager. And I would never get another manager as long as I live. She screwed my shit up so bad, worse than I could, and was doing underhanded snake shit, stealing and all that. And then a lot of these people have nothing to manage. I'm like, well, what are you doing that is that, to manage? How much are you bringing in? Because a manager normally gets 20%. Oh, well, I'm not making any money. Then what the fuck do you need to manage?
That's
I'm
a
making
fact.
money, and I really could use some help with managing things or people to reach out to brands for, reviews and bookings for me to use my platform. But I can't even find anybody competent to fucking send emails.
That's why we have you on here, so that people can see that you are a valuable commodity in this entertainment space, and you have your own brand as well as being absolutely beautiful. So if there's any person that could sell anything, you got Miss Hollywood right here. It's funny that you haven't like migrated to like Hollywood, because like you're tall, the blonde hair, the body. It's like you seem like you would be like like very Hollywood-esque. But I mean, I guess you can't take the Baltimore or the New Yorker out of you, huh?
Well, I love it out there to visit, but the whole New York is very pretentious. People are super fake. It's 1,000 times worse in fucking Hollywood. I call it Hollyweird, because everybody's just walking around like trying to be fucking discovered and seen. It's weird. Like, you have no fucking personality. The only time I go out there is when I get flown out by a network for a job, or if I'm working on something, but then I'm out, or if I'm seeing somebody else here. That's it. And then I'm fucking bored and can't wait to get home, because it's really kind of too laid back. Like, it's beautiful and all that, but I'm used to the fast pace of New York. Like, I love it. So
I feel you. I feel
but
you.
I love the old Hollywood. I know what you mean with even the Hollywood in the 80s with like the Motley Crue era and the hair bands. That would have been fabulous. But now, like, it's really just disintegrated. Like,
I feel you completely. So anyway, I'm glad that I have you on here, because there's a lot of people that only have seen you on Love and Hip Hop, but there's so much more to you than just that. I almost feel like you had an entire career before Love and Hip Hop, and really you had an entire career after Love and Hip Hop, because really it was almost like a stepping stone for you, almost like a bridge for you to get to where you're going. And I love that how you say that, like, the morals and the things that you believe, it's like it's giving you a voice to actually stand up and speak for the people that have been victims of domestic violence, or any sort of abuse. So let's get into your story, like right from the beginning. Let's talk about like the young Chrissy. Like I know you were born in Baltimore. Tell me about your upbringing. I know that we don't have to talk too much about your mother, because I know that that's a sore subject, but let's get into it, because I also feel that everything that you've been through has made you into this strong, beautiful creature that we all see today. So I think it's very pivotal for us to find out who you were, what you went through, and obviously where you're going.
Okay, so, and I appreciate you and your interviewing style, because I had the worst interview of my life the other day, and of course I know you, so I didn't have to vet who you were or anything. But now that interview, he just came right at me, like trying to state facts that he read about me on the internet, and just then ask a question. And I wasn't too happy about some of the things that he was just shouting out at me. That reminded me, I really have to be careful of who I let interview me from now on. But it's you. I mean, I know, but I know you were respectful.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
But that's also very important to anybody in the industry. Make sure you figure out who you're letting interview you, because this guy was strictly trying to just create some kind of scrutiny or get a rise out of me, which he did not get for his. It's all
because these interviewers, they lack a lot of substance, and they lack a lot of character, and the only thing that they see is like, oh, if I can get her to talk about this, then we might be able to go viral, and then I'm going to be lit, and I'm going to be popping.
And it backfired on him big time. So I'm not going to shout
fuck
him.
You, Mr. Interviewer, whoever you are.
Yeah, and he expected me just to bow out and all that. No, I said I'm going to keep going, but I don't have to answer any questions that you're asking if I don't feel comfortable. So I shut him down. But he was such a fucking amateur. Like, he was barking up the wrong tree. And I agreed to interview with him because he came to a pop-up shop. He bought a shirt. He was very nice in person, but he was a completely different person during this interview. And I knew what time it was. He was trying to be too extra and bring up negative things from my past to just try to get like, some kind of scrutiny and shit. But anyway, so getting into my past.
Yes. Little Chrissy. Talk to me about little Chrissy.
Little Chrissy was a creative, over the top.
Okay.
Wonderful child, always been a loner, always been eccentric since childhood, always been curious, very smart. I always used to read National Geographic magazines and stuff, and want to travel the world and get out of Baltimore, they called it. But I also grew up in a very dysfunctional household. My mother was a violent, evil woman. She was like a tornado in our house, like constant cops being called to the house, social services. She was extremely abusive. My father was a functional alcoholic, which means he could keep a job. And, you know, he worked 6 days a week, but paid the bills, but he would get drunk every night after work. My mother was out every night in a bar, using drugs, getting high, hooking up with different men. And she was very abusive. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. My older brother and sister got most of the abuse from my mother. But it was traumatizing nonetheless for me to stand there as a child and see this maniac in our house, busting up the house every day, embarrassing us. She's still alive. We have not spoken in 14 years. She's just, nobody talks to her. She's evil. She needs help that she refuses to get. So needless to say.
And I'm so sorry that you had to experience that, because childhood is supposed to be, you know, like, you know, sunshine and rainbows. And I can only imagine, you know, in dealing with that, you know, it was, I'm sure it took a while to, you know, come to terms with, you know, actually having to endure that, because when you're in it, you don't realize it. You kind of, there's a normalcy that you create that, like, oh, okay, this is what happens, you know. So I can only imagine that it must have taken some time, you know, to kind of get past that, to be to where it's like, it was not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong.
I never blamed myself. I knew my mother. I hated my mother. I just knew I hated my mother. And I to be honest, I wanted her to die. Just, that was the only way I could see all of the abuse stopping. I hated her. Like, so did my brother and sister. My sister ran away when she was, I don't remember. But anyway, my mother pulled my sister out of school, I think at 15 or 16, and had her working at the strip club, taking her money. I mean, this is just, I mean, I can go on and on. There's horrible things. I wrote a book. It's almost finished. It should be out this September, hopefully. I would like to release it on my birthday, which is September 7th. But it's going to go through all the really vivid details of my childhood. Because, you know, I realized growing up and sharing some of my stories, so many people went through, especially women with their mothers. A lot of people went through different types of abuse. But a lot of people don't discuss women and their mothers and the narcissistic mothers. I realized my mother was a narcissist, and I didn't know what a narcissist was. You got the aluminum over your bottle? I can't.
Yeah, because they don't support hip hop, so I didn't want to actually like show their label. So until they give me some money, they're not going to see the name of it.
Okay, so basically, my mother was evil. She left when I was 12 with my brother's best friend, who was staying in her house, and told me, "You're old enough to take care of yourself." Got strung out on dope. Left me with my dad, who still was drinking. So basically, I had no supervision. At age 12, I started having sex, going out to nightclubs, skipping school, partying. I mean, I was out at the after hours clubs, like in the city, till the next morning, and just, you know, living the life. Though I can't complain. I had a lot of fun.
Now, is this in Baltimore, or did you travel to New York City?
Okay. In Baltimore. I was like in the punk rock hip hop scene, which a lot of people today don't realize we're very closely parallel. Like, you had Run DMC with the Beastie Boys on tour. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people.
You had Aerosmith and Run DMC with a song together.
Yeah, a lot of different. You know, everything was parallel, like with the rock music and the hip hop at that time. Like, and then you had like the metalheads at school and shit, and the hair people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was more like punk rock and hip hop. Like, completely went to all the concerts. I loved it. I saw Public Enemy live.
I was gonna say, what were some of the groups that like you that you liked or went or listened to?
Oh my God. Then? I got to see NWA live. I got to see Eazy-E live. Let me tell you, amazing. Nice. You know, but Public Enemy, what a performance. Like, they were my favorite, because they would come out literally in the military uniforms and really just put on a fucking show. Big Daddy Kane, I've seen him. He was just, you know, taking the shirt off and shit, like, you know. And here I am, the little only white person in the whole fucking arena. But I didn't care. I just loved the music. So I had a really fun teenage life, just being in the city, being in the scene, being in the whole downtown scene with like the, you know, the underground bands, going to see like the shows in DC, like Bad Brains and like, you know, different underground punk rock groups and shit like that. So I had a mohawk, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really lived a great life. Like, I wore like...
I could picture the punk rock of Chrissy. I could picture Halloween. It probably went nuts. Probably put like colors in the mohawk and shit like that.
Exactly. Then I went through my goth stage and all that shit. So that was like...
You went to a goth stage? And you probably You probably look hot as a goth. I can picture you with like some black lipstick and some let me stop. Let me stop.
No, I was hot. It all into the Susie and the Banshees and all that shit. So yeah. So anyway, I had a fun time growing up. I was very popular. I dropped out of school. I think at 16, my father got remarried to this really white trash woman. I mean, and I hate to be ignorant, God rest her soul. But she hated my guts. She was like a Peggy Bundy. She literally had bright red hair. She would wear zebra shirts and she would smoke generic 100 cigarettes and have it hanging out of her mouth when she would talk with a fucking ash this long. Like you would just stare like, when is this bitch going to fall off the tip of the cigarette? So
that's funny.
She hated me. She had 5 kids and her kids were grown, but she wanted me out of the house. She wanted it just to be her and my father. So me and her used to fist fight. My father kicked me out. So I was devastated. So I was living, place to place, staying on people's couches. I was broke as fuck. And I got tired. I felt that was the most, and I'll tell you, this is why I'm so independent. It's the most humiliating situation is to have to ask somebody for anything, to borrow money for a place to stay, for food, shit like that. I was working a regular job, making $300 a week, and my boss kept trying to touch me. He was, his name was Khalil. They owned a flag store. They owned flag stores all over the United States. They lived in Tysons Corner, Virginia, but he was a pervert. Like I would be sitting at the register and he'd come and like rub his hard on my ass and shit like that behind me and all that. I'm like, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? So there used to be a guy that sold stolen shit and like perfumes and stuff that would come around the mall that I worked in, the Baltimore Inner Harbor. And by this time I had a body. Like I was like fully pretty much developed and, puberty and all that shit had already sunk in.
So you were an early developer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I always had a nice body. So, I mean, by this time I'm like 15 or 16.
I agree.
Yeah, so thank you. So I'm like, 15, 16, you're pretty much grown up. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. So this guy used to come around selling stolen shit. He was like, damn, you have a body. You should dance. I said, what do you mean dance? He's like, my friend Tina works over the block and she makes $100 a night. I said, $100 a night. I said, damn, I would work fucking 7 nights. I'm making $300 a week and I'm trying to get an apartment. I'm taking a fucking bus from the hood down here for this bullshit fucking job where this motherfucker's grabbing on me all the fucking time out this fucking cheesy store. So,
at least if you went dancing and somebody groped on you, you have the bouncers to come and rip them out of you, or they're paying you money to grope you. I mean, if that's your style.
This is when I was young. This is the late 80s, early 90s. I was like, no. I said, I can't do that. That's for whores. I said, fuck no. I said, I'm not compromising myself. What will people think? Fuck that. So, another month goes by and it's just getting worse with the motherfucker touching me. I'm really stressed out because I can't afford to move into my own place. I'm still staying at somebody's house. I had no money. Like I got tired of it. So I said, fuck this shit. I'm going to go, check out these clubs over here. And okay. They didn't ID back then. They didn't care if you were a fucking minor. They was just happy to have, bitches working. So
yeah, fresh blood. Oh man.
Yeah.
And you walking in there?
Yeah,
they were like cha-ching.
Exactly. So, I'm here, I'm young, I'm skinny, I'm a blonde, I'm cute. They didn't even ask my age. The lady, I went over there to the club that this guy had recommended. He said, it's a whole strip. It's called The Block in Baltimore. It's a strip of all clubs that used to be in the heyday, like Frank Sinatra, like burlesque, but now it went to shit. It's super like fucking ran down. So
now Baltimore is pretty much known for like Baltimore and Maryland, is known for like their go-go scene. So yeah. I know that
different than that's like DC music, and then Baltimore is more known for like the club music, which are like they always battle and everybody says the other one is trash, but I have to agree. I love Baltimore club music. There's some go-go songs that I like, but so I went over to this club and I met the manager, who I'm still friends with all of them today. Her name was Nancy. They were from Minnesota. The mother ran the club. The daughter bartended. The other daughter was assistant manager. Another daughter waitress, and another daughter danced there. They all came from Minnesota like gypsies. So she said, have you ever danced before? I said, no. She said, well, come in tomorrow night, see if you like us and we like you. So I was like, okay. So I come in the next night with a fucking pair of purple Payless pumps, like a 2-inch heel, a polka dotted polyester satin contempo casuals thong underwear, a black bra, and a little short purple silk robe, satin robe.
Please tell me you have a picture of this somewhere.
Oh, I don't. No.
Oh, that would have been great. You should have brought the disposable camera to that one.
No, so I right, God knows back then no, they had the picture man walking around and shit. So, but I was so fucking nervous. I literally was up there hugging the pole. Even the DJ was like, loosen up, you're stiff. And he said it on the microphone. I was like, I need a drink.
I was just gonna say, did you have a drink to at least like loosen up? I mean, I know that you're only 15, 16 at the time, but
I was getting drunk anyway. Fuck that. I was out partying all the time anyway. So
shit, at 15, 16, I was tripping my face off in Limelight and Palladium.
Yes, exactly. Shrooms and acid and all that shit back then was popping. Back then, not anymore. This shit I wouldn't touch today.
Yeah, and now I would do it, and I would literally have either a nervous breakdown, a heart attack, or both. Like I'd be in the middle of the street naked, like this. Yeah. No way. I could never take that shit. I'm good with my weed and my alcohol and
exactly.
Call it a day.
So, needless to say, I got hired, and my first night I worked, I made $300.
Nice.
Now, I made $300. I'm thinking I'm only gonna make like $100. So that I was sold. I'm like, can I work as much as I want? She said, you could work as much as you want. Just come in. You don't have to be on a schedule. I said, I don't have to be on a schedule. She's like, no, you can work when you want. You're an independent contractor. You can take off when you want. I'm like, this fucking guy said, fuck what everybody else thinks. I don't care. They're not paying my bills. So in no time, I had my own apartment. I bought my first Mercedes, I think when I was 21. I bought my first house when I was 24. I just started, man, I worked like 7 days a week. Like I was a hustling motherfucker. But I started in a rough club where I didn't know I was in a rough club compared to other clubs like that I would later go on and work in, because there was a lot of pimps bringing their girls in from Minnesota and in Chicago and stuff like that to work. Because these clubs down here were a gold mine, because it was a well-known strip of tourists and just people traveling in transient. So I didn't know I'm working like with these full-blown hoes. So I'm learning from the rip how to really hustle hard, because these bitches are hardcore hustlers. Not like these little pretty bitches like working at like fucking Lace or Stilettos or whatever, just stage dancing.
No, these are some hardcore girls with the nerve for the motherfucking curb, about to do some strange for a little bit of change.
These bitches were picking customers' pockets. These bitches were, slipping shit in their drink. Like these bitches were ruthless. So I learned, like on a slow night, I would wait by the door for the next customer to come in and grab them before anybody else could, grab them by the arm, drag them.
It's like, I'm saving you. You might be drugged, you might be robbed. With me,
exactly.
You're at least gonna have a good time and get out alive.
Yeah, so I learned to keep my eye on the door, grab them, sit by the front door, like really hustle. So when I went on to work at more upscale clubs, people were like, damn, how the fuck do you make so much money? I'm like, what else am I supposed to be doing here? This ain't a hangout.
That's a fact. You did work.
The most I made in one night was 16 grand in Myrtle Beach. I got a guy on his American Express Platinum Amex card and did absolutely nothing. The bouncer comes in. I kept pouring the champagne out, but they kept bringing in the cordless phone from the manager's office because they'd have to put Amex on the line to get his social and verify. And he kept
the validator was him. Yes, I'm paying $15,000. Yes.
So
take my money now.
They literally had to give me a bank bag at the end of the night. After they took their cut and all that shit, I left with 16 grand.
They didn't give you all singles, did they?
No. But they had to open up the ATM, wait till all the registers closed. I mean, I literally had to wait 2 hours to get paid, but they paid me every penny.
That's great. But I have a question. When you were dancing, did you ever encounter somebody that you knew from your past that like came in that, like a teacher from school or was it like in a completely different area?
One of my brother's friends. Oh yeah, I was so embarrassed. One of my brother's friends, some of my friends from school would come in. It was like, what are y'all up to? Y'all how's school? Like, but I didn't give a fuck because I'm out here on my own. Nobody cared but me. I had to look out for myself. And I'll be damned if I'm going to be fucking struggling. Like I was already struggling trying to do the right thing. And I'm not condoning anybody go out there and do what I did, but it worked for me. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of girls that got hooked on drugs. They got murdered. They were, doing the most. So I don't recommend anybody getting into the adult entertainment business unless you really know what you're in store for. Luckily, I made the most of it, but I'm the minority, not the majority. So,
will you have a proposition to move from the strip club to the adult industry, like and actually in
yeah,
the
I was
film
offered
world?
movies and shit like that, but those porn movies weren't even paying 1,500 back then. I'm like, damn, I make that in a good night.
It's like I make that in 2 hours on Saturday. Shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, so by the time I was 17, I met a guy that was from New York, and he was a big time drug dealer. And I was with him for 10 years. Long story short, that's how I started coming to New York back and forth. I don't want to give too much away. It was all in the book. So
yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, limit the details. Exactly. As much as I'd love to have a great podcast and full in-depth interview. This story, some of the stories belong in the book, and people got to pay to read that story. So pay the woman.
So let's just say I got into other lucrative endeavors, because he was coming down from Washington Heights to Baltimore, not to hang out. So we were together 10 years. He got murdered when I was 27 in Baltimore, and I was almost with him. So, I really believe in God, because I've had a lot of close calls like that where I was just missed the thing that happened, or I left before it happened, just in the nick of time. That's why I believe I always have angels guarding me. So I've been so lucky. So I was 27, but I always knew I wanted to move to New York, because I was coming to New York with him, and we were, bowling out every weekend. I'm at Soul Kitchen. We're at Limelight. We're at fucking Danceteria. All the fucking hot clubs, balling out of control. I'm seeing fucking Russell Simmons with models, and like, this is shit that you don't see in Baltimore. I'm like, yo, this is where I fucking need to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I said, he died. I was devastated. That was a whole fucking drama. And I said, if I don't leave and move to New York before I'm 30, I'm never going to leave. So I had a clothing store at this time. I got rid of my store. I sold my house. By 29, I packed up a fucking U-Haul. I knew 2 people, which were his cousins, and moved up here and started my whole life over. And the rest is history. That was about 20 years ago. And I worked.
What was the first thing that you did when you got to New York? Now, were you planning on dancing when you got to New York, or were you going to try to maybe do something else?
No, I planned on dancing. This is me, and when I worked at Sue's Rendezvous.
Sue's Rendezvous. Oh my God, I missed that fucking place. Holy shit.
I went right to Sue's Rendezvous because his cousins took me there. And, you're seeing all the fucking Bentleys parked outside and shit. You got all the big NBA players from the Knicks coming in, and all the fucking rappers coming in. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have been in this motherfucker. So, I lit it Sue's up. Like, Sue's, I made a fortune at. And that's how I met a lot of the industry contacts, honestly, that I still have today. It's not just from hanging out. It was from, they will come in this club all the time and be, so you build relationships and you build a rapport with these people. So those relationships later came back to serve me very well when I got on TV and shit. Because it helps when you go on auditions and they know, this person's a very well-connected person in the entertainment industry already. And, people ask me how, I'm just like, I just know them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just know people.
It's like, listen, if you're not a dick, I'm not a dick. People are going to remember me when I'm not a dick to them. So
exactly.
I always say kill people with kindness. When people say, they're like, how do you have such, now I've never boasted about who I hang out with or who my circle is or anything like that. But when people like ask me like, how are you around all these famous people? I'm like, because I'm a nice guy. I'm like, I'm not a dick. I'm like, I don't try to get things from people. I don't try to hang out with you, to get like clout or anything like I that shit. Like, I'm from the 90s, in hip hop, where if you had a gimmick, you were looked at like a peon. So it's like, I never was about that fuck shit. So,
exactly.
So I can understand that. And anyone that knows
people,
you.
Yeah. And real people know that and remember that. And, they're still around. And, that's why people are like, oh, can you introduce me to such and such? I'm like, fucking hell no. They would hate your guts. You're fake. Like, no, make your own connections.
That's a fact. And they weasel their way into these parties and like, so I mean, we have a very similar person that I'm going to mention in a little bit, but I want to get to it because I think we still have a couple more years to go. So when you started working at Sue's, who was like the first like real famous person that kind of befriended you? Because I mean, you're from Baltimore, and I know that everyone knows you, but like, who really like kind of was like, you know what, like I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure that she's comfortable.
Well, I moved to Yonkers, so I met Jadakiss was one of the first people that I actually really met. Him and his friends when I moved here, and we're all still friends to this day. We all live in Yonkers. Yonkers is a very small town as well.
Why-yo,
and they were always very respectful to me, very nice people. Very just cool. Like they always looked out for me. His friends are the best. Kay and Gus, that like they really are a good example of lifetime friendship. So but Yonkers is very small and everybody knows each other and all that. But when I met him, I said I live in Yonkers. He's like, oh shit, I know you're from Yonkers, but he didn't know I live in Yonkers. So, but I met Fabulous back then. He was cool. Still cool. Who else? Who else used to come in all the time? Stephon Marbury used to come in all the time. He was cool. Okay. Latrell Sprewell.
Who is it?
Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan was always in there, twisted. He was
twisted.
Cool. Oh man, but his manager was cool as shit. He would get wasted.
So those are the people that are cool. Who was a dick? I want to know who was. I mean, I don't want you to put them on blast. I kind of do, but who was like a dick that you don't even care? Like, oh, that person was an asshole.
A lot of the Giants players, and I don't even know their names. They're probably fucking broke flipping burgers somewhere now. But a lot of them were cocky. These football players, for some reason, I don't know why, they were just fucking dickheads. Not all of them. Some of these Giants and Jets players. Some of them were cool, but I remember like 2 or 3, which were just dickheads for no fucking reason. Like, it's like they're sucking their own dick. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, I never heard of you.
Yeah, I despise people like that. So what made you decide to kind of hang up the stripper heels and try something new?
Well, I always dabbled in other businesses. So, I don't want to get into that. That's also in the book. I'm lucky I never lost my freedom or my life. I just
thank God. Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah. I was always wild and just never cared. I never had fear in my heart about taking any chances or the consequences of, I'm just sitting here like organizing because I'm seeing the view here. So now all my like interviews, I can set up my little set here with all my products.
Listen, it's a trial basis. So you use whatever works for you, and it's fine for me.
Yeah. So, there were mad cool people there though. Like Sue's was a great place. It was a clean club. There was no prostitution, nothing like that. That was just a fucking great time. Like it was, and you had to be a bad bitch to get hired there. Like it was.
That's a fact. If anyone went to Sue's back in the day, that they was filled with baddies all over the place. So what was the first thing that you did once you kind of were phasing out of the strip club?
Well, I owned escort services when I was in Maryland. So I had some of those up here. I actually owned massage parlors in New Jersey. Different locations, things like that. Legal, licensed, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah, because there was a rumor that you were a madam.
Yes.
And so let's crush all those rumors. She ran a legitimate business. A massage parlor is not a brothel.
Well, honestly,
it depends on who you ask.
Well, people look at that business as so shady. But let me tell you how many women worldwide are legitimate sex workers. I'm pro sex worker. There's unions in San Francisco that are, for sex workers, protecting sex workers' rights. A woman has a right to do with whatever with her body as she wants. As she wants to sell pussy, let her sell pussy. That's her business.
It's the oldest profession known to man and woman.
Exactly. So I don't like when people try to oppress sex workers and tell them, oh, you're going to go to jail for this. And the John is gets off scot-free. He's part of the
he's part of the transaction. Yeah, I mean, and they just made prostitution legal in New York. So just for statute of limitation purposes, only because I don't know. So if it was a massage parlor, it was a massage parlor. You're not going to get Chrissy on that.
I got in trouble years ago. I'm not, that's okay. I have no problem talking about my past. It's no secret. But I also believe in, and there's a lot of debate with this. A lot of, having escorts and massage parlors, places like that, where men can go and basically relieve themselves. Men who cannot even, if they went out to a club, even get a girl to go home, that may go and rape a woman. They have these urges, they have, these things, but they can go find someone legally, willingly, between them two, mutual agreement to satisfy that urge, where he doesn't go out and violate another female.
Agreed.
Just to say, that's not all situations, but there's a lot of circumstances, and a lot of these men. I mean, there were Jewish rabbis that would come in, all that stuff. They weren't bad people at all. They were men, and they were looking for something that was missing at home, or missing. They didn't have a home. They didn't have anyone at home. So, I'm totally pro.
Same. Yeah, I have nothing against any. I mean, I co-owned an escort service when I was younger. So, but myself, I've never paid for a lap dance. I've never paid for a prostitute. I've never paid for a massage with a happy ending. I never. Yeah, I'm more about finding like the regular girl, and like we can role play big. Listen, this is gonna be a massage parlor tonight, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna ask for the special massage and put on the accent and the outfit and everything. Exactly. I'd rather do that.
But what I found, honestly, was you're not paying for the companion. You're paying for them to go
leave.
And
right. You pay. Yeah. You're
paying for them to have some bitch phone up your phone after the club, and then you're taking her out on 5 dates and you still don't get any. It's wham bam. Like I said, it's a mutual agreement. If she's fine with it, he's fine with it, and no one's hurting anyone. Who fucking cares? And now I am against human trafficking 1,000%. I'm against forcing people into do things.
Crazy motherfuckers at Wayfair.
Now that's
we know what you were doing.
Yeah, and that really disgusts me. It's sick and it's sad, but there's unfortunately sick people out here. I just find it evil. When there's actually no reason to force anyone, but it's a lot of men that are fucking bums who can't do anything for themselves or provide a lifestyle that they want to provide, and they use people, to do their dirty work, and it's disgusting.
At the end of the day, they're predators, and they're only about making money. They don't have a soul. It's a whole bunch of sociopathic, psychopathic people.
Yeah, they deserve life in prison. Like, I had places that were a safe haven for women to come and work, where they weren't alone in a hotel with a man, where they could have gotten hurt, things like that. So, people look at me, oh, you're this, you're that. No, listen, don't judge me. I never made anyone do anything they did not want to do. I actually turned people away all the time. I could tell they weren't right for that industry. You have a good family. You're in college. What the fuck are you trying to do here? Go home. Go back to school. This is not for you.
Well, that was nice of you.
Yeah, but it's the truth, because
if you see somebody that we know, even though we're pro sex work, we know that the industry has a way of corrupting you, and a way of kind of like bringing out the dark side. So it's like, if we see light in you, because when I co-owned an escort service when I was younger, and when I would see girls that wanted to come and dance, or come and get part of the racket, I'm like, no, I see so much light in you. I was like, I don't want to switch the light off and turn that into darkness. So it's like, you'll thank me later. So that's great that you were able to do that. So it's like. So, a real pimp wouldn't care. Would take that girl, like, trick her out, like, fully, and not even give a shit.
Exactly. And I don't like that word, because people, like, that's how that guy tried to come at me the other day. He's like, oh, I heard you don't like the word. Yeah, because a pimp is normally associated with beating a woman, taking all of their money, abusing, using, trashing them, getting them strung out on drugs. I want nothing to do with any of that. What these women make is their money. And, whatever agreement we have, they're more than making way more than I am. And I'm not using and abusing anyone. You know what I'm saying? They're coming on their own free will to work in this industry.
I got to imagine that, having experience in that industry has had to have taught you, so much of, how to empower yourself to handle the situation of the egos of the people in the entertainment industry.
Oh, big time. Oh, and a lot of them were clients. I would never write a tell-all. I would never, never, ever. You don't burn.
Listen, you could tell me. I will not tell anyone. Go ahead.
No, I would never, because, you don't ever burn bridges with people that once, they kept you in business. They once put money in your pocket. You don't ever fucking tell on people. That's ratting on people.
That's a fact. That's
nobody's fucking happy home. You would never hear me write a book or name names ever.
Well, that's good.
And nor any of the girls that work with me, unless they fucking want to play and burn a bridge or whatever, or, push me to that point.
In which case, run, Chrissy. We'll definitely get you.
That's only happened once, and that was on Love and Hip Hop. But there was so much more behind that. But that was the most interesting part that the business wanted to show to make it entertaining for the audience. So it was way more than that when I got on television. And, I'm a firm believer in putting out my own dirt before someone else could come and bring it out and use it against me as well.
Now, did you want to pursue a career in as an actress or in acting?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you go on auditions, or you just basically Love and Hip Hop was like your first?
No, I always wanted to act. That's why I moved to New York and model. I always acted and modeled, even when I was in Baltimore, in between all the madness and the fast money. I did a lot of extra work. Anything they filmed in Baltimore, I was like an extra on. All the John Waters movies, Homicide, Life on the Street with Richard Belzer was filmed there. I played a nail technician in that. I always got extra work. I did a Baltimore City cable soap opera for a summer. I was on a TV dance show on the cable channel.
Did you want to get casted for The Wire?
Actually, I knew Idris Elba.
Okay.
So I was cool friends with Idris. No, I had already moved to New York by then, and my friend Amanda was the wardrobe stylist. So I could have gotten on the show, but I was already living up here.
Gotcha. You were already like New York to the death. Like, I'm not going back there.
Idris was best friends with one of my first boyfriends I had when I moved up here. So we would actually, when I would go back and forth to go home and shit, we would hang out with Idris because he would be down there working, filming. And Idris is mad cool, like people look at him.
Did he speak with the English accent or the British accent?
The English, whatever. Like, the British, I'm sorry. I'm thinking English like English.
I mean, English is British. I mean, I should have said American or British.
Yeah, his British accent, regular British. And he's cool as shit. He DJs and stuff too. But he really blew up. And we always said, don't forget us when you blow up. Well, I ran into him at a party once and he forgot us.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Isn't that fucked up? And I've seen it happen with a few people. I'm not naming any names, especially these rappers. They get mad fucking Hollywood. Like, and I'm like, really? That you really acting like this? Like, ew. That's
one thing. I experienced I'd say, no, I'm not famous in any way, shape, or form, or at least, nowhere at your level. I mean, my parents think I'm famous. I'm famous in their house, but it's like when I wanted to, really become somebody in this industry, I always was the person to kind of take a step back and let you discover who I am without me having to tell you, who I am. And I always said that in the beginning, when I received a little bit of fame, I'm not going to let it go to my head. I'm not going to forget anybody that helped me. But in reality, some people, you see that it's just they're tagging along, and it's just like, oh, that's what you're all about. And then you're like, it was almost like recently with politics. It's like, I can't believe that I allowed myself to be friends with you, and this your beliefs just stand. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I was very close friends with someone who's blew up pretty big now, and I knew he would change, but I didn't think he would change that much. But I don't even care. It's whatever.
What's his name? Nobody's listening. You can tell me. I won't tell anyone.
You're so silly.
Now, so talk to me about the audition for Love and Hip Hop. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on Love and Hip Hop because there is so much more to your story.
That's why I'm like, when they say, it's Chrissy from Love and Hip Hop, I'm like, that's so fucking 5 years ago.
No, this is Chrissy fucking serving looks. This is Chris. I swear, you need to have like an NFT of your voice recording, just going yes, because that is you. See, there you go. There you go. All right, everyone pay us now. So tell me.
I'm in the crypto and stocks and shit now, and the NFT I'm in with the crypto nerds. We have a thing called the crypto money team.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Blockchain gang.
Yes. NFT. See, I've been writing shit down. So, the
Talk
audition
to me
was
about
great.
the audition, like the phone call. I want to like let's go a little deep. Like when you got that phone call, you know, to audition, what were you thinking? Like what was going through your head?
A random phone call. I had to make it happen. So, you know, anybody that's trying to do anything, you gotta get out there and fucking make moves. You gotta put it out there that this is what I want to do. Who can help me get in the door? So that's where all those contacts came in handy. Mm-hmm. Actually, a good friend of mine who's with a big time A-list producer and label owner. She's one of my best friends. I asked her, I said, yo, this is when Love and Hip Hop, you know, this is like the 4th season I'm watching. And I'm like, yo, this is really my fucking life. Like, I got to be on this shit. Like, do you know anybody on this fucking shit? She's like, well, such and such knows somebody. So one phone call, knowing the right people. And I was in Mona's office 3 days later. And I went in there and sold it, like with my diamonds, makeup done, the long blonde ponytail, walked in there with my chihuahua and honey. They loved me.
I picture you walking in there just going, look, bitch, I'm on the show. Yes. You have yourself a lovely day.
Yes.
And then flick of the hair.
No, but they love me. They really did. And they're so cool.
Shit, what's not to love?
Thank you.
I mean, listen, and I'm not just saying that just because you're on the show, but it's like if you, and I know you don't really let a lot of people in your circle. So it's like when me and you used to chill, it's like anyone could see that you're a blast to be around, you know? So it's like when I say what's not to love, it's really the truth. Like, I mean, there's like, I don't see you having a bad bone in your body unless you're crossed, in which case, you know, if you cross Chrissy, run.
It's not even, I don't even try. I'm too old for that gangster fake, you know, shit. I really come from real gangster shit and I know real killers. I know real street people. So I don't got to act in all that tough shit. That tough shit is not getting you anywhere but dead or in jail. Like, you know, real people from the streets aren't trying to be in the fucking streets. You know what I'm saying? So trying to get the fuck out of the streets. So
the first day that you were on Love and Hip Hop, talk to me about like coming to the set. Like, did you have to come, you know, with your own makeup? Did they do everything for you?
They send car service with the makeup artist to your house. And they don't tell you where they're taking you because they don't want you to plant weapons or have people waiting there to jump somebody that you might.
Okay.
So that
smart.
protects
very, very smart. Good stuff. Good shit, Mona. That's thinking ahead.
Yeah, Mona's very smart. She is such a sweetheart. She gets a bad rap, but let me tell you something. That woman is not even on set. That woman is in the office making her next move. She's not telling anybody what to do on that fucking show.
If people only knew that she was part of the original like Def Jam Legacy team.
And Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, all that shit. Yeah. So, you know, she's legendary. She is a real boss. 100%.
Okay. So you show up to set. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, they're going to send a makeup artist to my house. Oh my God, this is fucking big time. And then I remember how quiet I was because I'm like, what if they got recorders in the car? I was so cautious of everything that I ever said, even on my phone in the car. Are they recording me? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like all fucking paranoid because I knew, you know, producers also will play you to move up in their position. You know, they have a career. So the better producer that they are and can kiss the boss's ass, you know, they don't mind throwing anybody under the bus. And I knew that going into that because the woman who did get me on the show had experience in the industry. So she told me the ropes, you know, pretty much.
So she prepped you. Okay, good.
Yeah, she's like, don't trust the fucking producers. Do not trust anybody. They will set you up. And, you know, luckily I was never set up. They were cool. I was cool with them. They were cool with me. And like I said, I still am cool with, you know, all of them on Instagram and shit. We all follow each other and all that. So no, cool. It was a life-changing fucking experience. It was amazing. And, you know, nobody prepares you for when that first episode hits. I
was just about to ask you, what was it like when that first episode, when you're seeing yourself on TV? Were you, I picture you like, I can't look, but you have to look.
No, I remember the first time I got noticed. I was in Zara in Midtown with my best friend Murph, and it was wintertime. And I had on a snow hat, but I had a blonde mohawk. So, because I wanted to stand out on the show. So I was in Zara and I was trying
like your looks doesn't make you stand out enough. You needed to take
it was winter though. I'm like all bundled up. So I took off the hat and I was in the mirror trying something on over my clothes or something. And the sales girl goes, oh my God, you're on Love and Hip Hop. Oh my God. Yo, I felt so fucking weird. I don't feel any different. It's still me. It was the weirdest feeling. And then other people are like, can I take a picture? And all these people started coming up to me. I'm like, oh my God. It was the weirdest shit ever. A lot of people live for that shit, but I kind of found it to be
a little intrusive.
Yeah, and I became kind of reclusive because of it, because it's like you go outside, everybody wants a picture, and sometimes you don't feel like taking pictures. Sometimes you don't feel like putting on makeup and doing your hair to go outside, just to go to Rite Aid. So you get people to go to the store for you and shit like that. It becomes different. So that was a life-changing experience. It totally opened up a lot of doors for me. I found that I didn't have to go on auditions anymore. People were calling me, the tables had turned in a lot of ways. But also a lot of fake friends, a lot of opportunistic weirdos, clout chasers, they call it now, people trying to get on, predatory men. I mean, you name it. Like, I attracted fucking every weirdo. Like, you be careful what you wish for, because you get the bad with the good, but it was more good than bad. A lot of perks. It led to a lot of really good opportunities for me. When I left Love and Hip Hop, I was on a show with Tretch, Ed Lover, who else was on a show called The Comeback Kings on YouTube.
Okay, sure. Yep. Shout out to Tretch. I actually manage a producer named Jay Wex, and he just produced Tretch's whole album. It's insane. Tretch's new music is absolutely insane. Wait until you hear the heat that he's.
I haven't heard it. I love Tretch. He's cool as fuck, yo. He's just himself. Like, he don't give a shit. He's cool as shit. So it was great. Oh, Jermaine Hopkins from what was that movie? Stand By Me. He was on the show with us. So
okay.
They called me, and it was a good check. I'm like, okay. So yes. So a lot of opportunities came. I got a column in Hip Hop Weekly called Love Talk with Chrissy Monroe. All these things would have never happened if I were not on Love and Hip Hop. Let's be real. So
all in all, you don't regret ever doing Love and Hip Hop.
Never. I loved it. It was a chance of a lifetime. It was that's fucking VH1.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie. The season, like after, like when you left, I was like, she was one of my favorite characters before I really got to know you.
I couldn't be with my ex anymore. He was a fucking nightmare. Let's just put it that way.
He didn't treat you right. You deserve
drug addict. So
you deserve so much better than that. I don't know how much of that was scripted or how much of that.
No, it wasn't scripted. He's a fucking dick sucker. Like, he's an asshole motherfucker. Like, he wasted my time. He was getting high. He was always wired. 1 minute he was cool. 1 minute he was fucking weird. And I felt like I really had to put up with him just to make it through the season. But I really was like, God, help me make it through this fucking season. Like, then he called me like, do you want to do another season? I said, you couldn't fucking pay me, you motherfucker. Go fuck yourself. So
does he still try to reach out to this day?
No. I don't know if he's dead or alive. Who fucking knows? Who cares?
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, you've dealt with your fair share of psychos, and I'm gonna pull out the thermometer and I'm gonna ask, has the mercury popped up anywhere? Or
no, not lately. Thank God.
Wait. Shh.
I know. Don't talk it into existence.
Next topic. Anyway, so.
And you saw that on Dr. Phil, right?
Yeah. I mean, the picture that you post of her, it has my name on the computer screen reversed. If you look at that, all of a sudden it's like that's literally like a JopauL subliminal branding message on that computer screen when you see her like with that crazy, with that crazy face. And when I was talking about, it haunted me for a while. And remember when I was talking earlier about people weaseling their way into places and you assume that they are somebody? So it's like, I'm good friends with Heather Hunter. And it's like, if you go,
isn't Heather the best?
Heather is fucking awesome. I was just at her house for July 4th. She's probably like the best human being that I know.
Yeah. No,
and it's like, and I met that woman, and I'm not going to even mention her name. If you guys don't realize, I said her name before. Stalker. But I met her there, and just based on that, that's like, positive by association. It's like,
so
okay,
she's okay,
right? And then come to find out, all the shit that you went through, and like,
oh my God, I had her arrested. I've had 2 orders of protection against her, and this woman to this day, I don't know why she started stalking me in the first place.
That was my question. I just want that. Like, the only reason I brought that up.
Dr. Phil asked her. There's no reason. She said, I want her melanin. That's why. which is crazy. Certified. Like,
Yeah, just a little bit. I love the
like,
setup.
I left the Dr. Phil show in tears because I was really thinking he was going to help me, and he did
That's
not.
what I thought too. When I saw it too, I was kind of upset. Well, I mean, you know that he hasn't been a practicing doctor in years, and he's really just a TV doctor.
He did not care about anything but the fucking ratings, point blank, like, period. I left there in tears. I provided everything they asked me for, police reports, arrest records, everything that this woman has fucking stalked me, messages for 5 years. I mean, just, she said she's never going to leave me alone. Like,
and I love how they tried to make it like you were the aggressor, you know, that you actually responded to some of these, you know, things. It's like you could only take so much before you fucking snap.
I had to warn followers because she was going on my domestic violence page saying she's a counselor for my foundation, sending people her phone number, and when they would call her, she would spaz out on them. Oh, you support this white devil, bitch! Ah!
Now, I mean, now anyone that knows you and knows your story knows why, you know, you are a champion for mental health as well as, you know, any sort of abuse, because you've literally dealt with abuse from every fucking angle of the spectrum. And we haven't even gotten to, and I don't want to touch on it too much because, you know, because I think we're having a very happy, you know, sort of thing. And I don't want to take it to a dark place, but there are a bunch of other interviews that Chrissy has done where she speaks about, you know, everything that she's dealt with domestic violence, you know, and being abused by, you know, the man that she trusted, you know. So without me going too deep into it, I just want to ask you, how are you doing now?
I'm doing wonderful. When I left Love and Hip Hop, I met a guy that was younger. It turned out to be that he almost killed me. That'll be in my book too. I have a 5-year order of protection still in effect under him. He robbed me for over $10,000 worth of jewelry. I have permanent hearing damage in my left ear. He dislocated my left jaw, broke my front tooth. I have veneers now, thank God. Black eyes, cracked ribs, a lot of things. They only gave him 3 months, by the way, and he's reoffended. He's beaten up a few other women since me. I just pray to God he doesn't kill someone. He told me he hates females. Like, he's just full of rage. Just stay away from me, but God bless. I pray to God he doesn't kill someone. I swear to God. I just pray to God.
Being that you went through that firsthand, what are some of the early signs that you can kind of give to some of our viewers to kind of give them like a heads up, you know, and then certain methods of how they can get out of it? Because I mean, it's hard to get out of the situation when you're really like deep.
Oh yeah,
into
I was afraid. I was afraid. Like, I was afraid to call the police. I was afraid to say anything. Like, he threatened to kill me. I'll get your face cut. Like, you know, you call the police, I'll fucking kill you, bitch. And I believed him because he was already fucking beating the shit out of me. He was a fucking woman, straight up woman beater. Like, there's no other way around it. I got punched in the face once for changing the radio station in the car. Like, you didn't have to do anything. He was just fucking always angry. So that's one thing to look out for. If they're always mad at something, it started with the emotional abuse where he would start ignoring me and then making me think that something was wrong with me, or I did or said something. I'm thinking back through the day, like, did I say something to make him mad? So that's the mental conditioning. They start grooming you with the emotional abuse. Then it got to be verbal with, you know, the bitches and all the names all the time. And it's all fucked up day.
Was that like a flashback to when you were like younger, when like your mother would like say shit like that? So it was almost like re-traumatizing. So it was almost like a double dose.
But honestly, I really was so used to the abuse that it was kind of normal to me, and I kind of related with it, and it was just normal because I grew up with all this dysfunction. So in a fucked up way, it was just normal. It's just whatever. And then I really thought I could help him, and you know, whatever. But you know, I started my foundation once they only gave him 3 fucking months. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And it was a female district attorney here in Yonkers. Like, you're a woman and this is what the fuck y'all doing? Like, this guy already was a convicted felon. You know, he was never charged with domestic violence because his other victims that came forth before me.
I wish you knew Dawn back then.
I know. They were too afraid to speak up and get him arrested. But I was the first one to press charges. So the women that contacted me after him and sending me pictures of their black eyes and all that, and he had broken another girl's nose in front of her daughter after me. I mean, he's just an animal. There's no other way around it. Like, he should not be on the streets.
Well, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. And let me reassure you that
we all make poor choices.
that you are a queen and you deserve a king that is going to allow fucking himself to treat you in the manner that you deserve to be treated.
We've all made mistakes in our dating life. So I don't feel any way, you know, there's the victim blaming, which I learned about after the fact of why didn't you just leave and why did you stay and all that. I talk about that a lot and, you know, within my foundation, and I'm going to start my meetings again now the corona is clearing up and all that in the city. Because, you know, they have AA meetings, they have NA meetings, but where is there a place for domestic violence survivors and families of domestic violence, you know, victims and survivors to really come and talk? There isn't. So, you know, just me even having my Instagram page has been therapeutic to so many because I'm giving out that crucial information and networking with other victims and survivors where they feel I'm not alone. Oh, Chrissy's been through this too. I'm not crazy like he told me I was. Yeah, I can't talk to my family because they judge me. They cut me off. He isolated me from my friends and family. I have no one else to talk to. So, you know, just seeing other women on the page and sharing stories and stuff like that is very helpful to someone who's so mentally fucked up, like I was, to know I'm not alone. And this is not, I'm not the only person this is happening to, and I'm not crazy. That's where a lot of the education comes in, where I put a lot of posts about the grooming, the mental conditioning, the different forms of abuse, the emotional, financial, verbal, physical, there's, you know, all kinds of abuse. He doesn't have to put his hands on you.
How fulfilling is it for you now that you have a voice to actually help a lot of these women that, you know, they look at you, you know, as a role model. Like, I mean, even though you are a celebrity, it's like, you know, you're like, you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable and you've shown that you're a normal person. So it's like, how fulfilling is it for you that you could provide a voice for some of these women that really haven't had a chance to speak up or know that they're not alone out there?
That's the most fulfilling thing. That's more fulfilling than any TV show, any award, any fucking monetary, anything. This has been my life's mission. And unfortunately,
that's awesome.
I had to go through all of that for I mean, this is, I believe it's God put me through the worst to bring me out on top so I could help others and save lives. Because every time somebody thanks me for, you inspired me to leave, you were the one that taught me this, you were the one that helped me get through this, that makes my whole fucking week, because that's life changing. You really are saving lives. And even if it's
that's
just
awesome.
one life, like it's a life, it's so worth it. So this is my legacy. This is my life's mission. Survive to Thrive Global is the name of my foundation that I started, because I swore to myself, I've been gifted with all these wonderful things, this huge platform. I'm not going to just shit it away fucking posting diet tea and all that vain shit. You know what I'm saying? No, let me do some good and fucking stand up for something that I believe in, and hopefully spare the next person from ever having to go through what I went through. So that's how
that's awesome. It's almost like you're God's vessel to basically pass that message on to the people that really need it. So you're a real soldier and you're a survivor. So it's like you can, anyone that knows your story, you know, can see that you're a very good person. You have a very kind heart. You know, you've been through the ringer, you know, throughout the course of your career, which is, you know, not even at its peak yet. There's still so much more that you have to offer, you know.
Chrissy's Way is coming out on Amazon Prime.
There we go.
And what everybody's like, well, what is your show about? So it's my reality after reality TV, because like, you know, if you're on a show of that magnitude, I don't care what anybody says, you're marked for life. People are always going to associate you with that show.
That's right.
Then, like you said, I looked next season and you weren't there. Like, people wonder whatever happened to this person. Like, I fell in love with her personality. So I'm pretty much just bringing everyone up to speed with what's happened in the last 5 years since leaving the show. But my real life is even more fucking fabulous and fun than what they portrayed on the show, because it was focused on my relationship with this asshole. And I was depressed. And this is my fun side, my business, showing how I started my business here, Serving Looks Shop. Just everything that I'm doing and living life to the fullest. I almost died in September.
I was just about to say, you deserve to live life to the fullest because you almost faced death a couple of months ago. So it's like
a fucking blood clot. Yeah, my liver, not corona.
So, yeah, just to give my viewers. Okay, so
yeah,
an abusive household in childhood, abusive, man that, almost killed her. A fucking stalker that, for some strange reason, was after her. And now,
couple of my exes dying. My sister dying of a fentanyl overdose 3 summers ago. My favorite niece dying. I had to take her off of life support, age 30.
And your father, rest in
My
peace.
father, I mean, I know loss very well. You know what I'm saying?
So if anyone deserves to be living life now after everything that you've been through, like you don't even have to explain. But to my viewers, what happened? Like, I mean, with the blood clot, and all of a sudden we saw you like rush to the hospital, and it was like, is it corona? Is it not corona? What's going on? You know, I mean, we all of us knew that it wasn't anything having to do with drugs, because you know we know that you're not
No, I
you're
don't
not
think drugs
like
are.
that,
I used to
especially because of what happened with your sister.
Yeah, exactly. I was a recreational drug user in my teenage years and early 20s and shit. Like, you know, like the 80s and shit were fucking
They were a blast. Shit. Yeah, listen,
yeah,
it was the early 90s for me, but I was candy flipping every weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch anything now. Like my sister literally got some bad shit and died it was laced with fentanyl. So even if I wanted to, I wouldn't. And I had another friend of mine that I grew up with. She died of it was fentanyl related, and that was 2 years ago. And she was a year younger than me. And you know, it's just horrible because you can't even. We grew up in a time where shit was pretty much clean and pure. Now these young kids are touching this shit and dying from it. It's so not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Like I wouldn't even take a fucking pill or nothing now because you don't know what's in it. Nothing. I would not.
That's a fact.
I don't even smoke weed, nothing. But anyway, so long story short, my birthday was September 7th, turned up on the yacht, lit as fuck, And then a week later, I just started having like fucking cramps in my right side. I've never had a broken bone. I've never had an illness. I've never been hospitalized, nothing. So it just gets worse and worse. So by the third night, like I've already YouTubed and shit to try to fucking diagnose myself and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like WebMD, like pain, right side, right under the right rib.
Yes, exactly. So, you know.
Because I've been having some pain on my right side, so now you're scaring me. But go ahead, talk.
Oh, so I'm thinking maybe it's a kidney infection because that's something in the kidney. So by the third night at 6 a.m, it hurt so bad I couldn't sleep all fucking night. So I'm like, fuck it. I called 911. I went and sat out on the steps, and the ambulance came. And I went to the hospital, and I ended up staying in there for a month. It was a blood clot in the vein that runs through my liver. There was a clot called deep vein thrombosis. Very, very fatal. I'm lucky to be here because most people that get blood clots get them in their lungs or their legs.
And this was after your car accident.
Yeah. So somebody hit me from the back.
Yeah, we forgot. We just skipped right past that.
Before that, yeah, somebody hit me from the back at the fucking stop sign March 9th. I remember that because that was what Biggie Smalls.
Biggie, greatest rapper of all time, died on March 9th.
So I fucked up my back. I already had a little back surgery and shit. I was wearing a neck brace. And then this happens out of nowhere. So thank God. I spent a month in the hospital. I lost 30 pounds. I had 5 surgeries in 5 days, and I was in a coma.
I was very worried about you. I mean, obviously you changed your number, but I texted your number and I was like, if you need anything, you know, Jesus Christ, you stalker, stop, because it's hard keeping up with the phone numbers.
No, I have to give you my new one. Yeah.
Yes. So how are you feeling now? Clean bill of health?
So let me tell you, I go every month now I go every week. Well, I was going every week for iron infusions. They also found out I was anemic. I had 2 blood transfusions while I was admitted. I went and had my 6-month mark CAT scan, and they found that I still have some clotting. So I go in on the 18th. I got to go into the hospital again to get 3 small procedures done. Nothing like I had done then, but I'm on blood thinners now, probably for the rest of my life, which are fine. I just can't really drink anymore. They said I could have 1 drink a week. What the fuck is that's like eating 1 chicken McNugget or 1 potato chip. What the fuck?
Like, I mean, that's like eating 1 Pringle. Like, you know, once you pop, you can't stop. You know what I'm saying? So
it's so funny. So what am I doing with that? Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? What am I doing with 1 drink? Like, I'm sitting here visually merchandising while I'm on the day with you.
Hey, listen, whatever. I'm looking at it as a compliment. Like, I'm inspiring you to get creative right now. To like, you know what? Let me figure out how all this is going to look. I got a screen right over here. But you know, I see you're doing so much with your time. So I know how valuable your time is. So I don't want to, you know, like soak up all of it, even though I could talk to you for hours.
I'm chilling, man. It's nothing out there. Like, you can't catch me. You know, they robbing mad people on Dykeman and killing people now. I usually would be at Dykeman during the summer, which is 10 minutes from my house. I won't go near there now. There's too many crimes being committed right there on that strip. And then all
You
these
want to know why?
yeah,
People have lost their minds. You know what it is?
yeah,
Now that things are open again, I'm gonna give you a little like analogy that I've been given. You take a wild animal, you take him out of its natural habitat, and you create the most perfect surroundings. A zoo. To house him. Now that animal is in captivity. You take
exactly.
you take humans, you take us out of our natural environment, and from we come and go as we please. You're not going to tell us what to do. Now you force us to stay in the most comfortable surroundings, our houses, quarantine. We're still in captivity. Now, once you let us back out into the wild, it's going to be an adjustment period before we realize, who we were before we went into quarantine. So that's
Exactly.
why things are going a little crazy. So just be careful out there because there's
Well,
some
that's what I'm saying.
fucking
That's why I'm in the house and you're not taking up any of my time because I'm only going to certain functions, but you can't even call it. You can't even say it's hood shit because look, they shot up out front of fucking Prime 112 in Miami last month. I could have
crazy.
caught a stray bullet because that's my favorite restaurant in Miami, and that's an expensive restaurant. You never know where shit's going to pop off. So I'd rather lessen the chances of not being outside in certain. But you can't call it. You never know where shit's going to happen. The motherfucking world is going crazy, man. I'm just trying to live.
Right. Especially and after the year and a half that all of us have just had, it's like that's all I want to do. Like I had to celebrate my 40th birthday doing a Zoom in quarantine.
Aw, happy birthday.
Thank you. I mean, it was quite some time ago, which it got made up to me. I jumped on my boy Rob Love, who actually worked with Mona over at Def Jam. He had his birthday through Zoom, and he invited me on there, and and Russell Simmons was on the Zoom, so I got to celebrate my birthday like that. That was pretty cool.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
major.
And as he signed off of the Zoom, he said, thank you all for coming out. God bless and good night. I was like,
Legendary.
this is legendary. I was like, this is awesome.
No, that's
So,
super legendary.
so what's next for you? What besides like the serving looks and finding Chrissy, it's like besides that, which is in motion, what haven't you done that you want to do? Besides marry me, of course, but that's for another podcast.
No. I want to travel a little bit more and see the world. I find, I used to be motivated by material things. Now I'm trying to get rid of shit and be free. The more shit that we have and own is more things that weigh us down. After almost dying, I mean, the priest came and everything, 6 months ago, I realized what's important, what's not. And none of this material shit is important. So my thing is to make money online. And just be financially free where, I've always worked for myself, but this really, there's a whole world of customers out here. Why not monetize and capitalize off that and finance a lifestyle where I can travel the world and see everything I want to see? Because I really didn't think I was going to make it out of the hospital. So it was a reality check. Like, I still want to go here. I still want to go there. I got to eat this food. I want to go there. So I'm not playing any games. That's what's next for me. I want to travel more.
You want to eat crab legs at every tropical destination humanly possible.
I would love to get married, but I'm really kind of waiting till the last minute. I've been engaged 4 times.
Well, listen, you let me know when that last minute is. I'll come there with a rock and we'll travel the world. I don't eat crab legs, but you can eat as much as you want. I don't care.
You're so cute. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just believe there's a world full of beautiful men out there I haven't even met. Like, and I'm not a spring chicken, but I still bag them. So I'm still having fun. And, when I feel like I'm really ready to slow down and just chill in the house, then I might settle down, who knows? Who knows what God has in store? I might meet somebody tomorrow and then that's it. I can't call it, but I do know I want to travel more. Serving Looks is my new baby. Survive to Thrive Global is my baby. My book coming out is my baby. And Finding Chrissy on Amazon Prime is my baby. And a big network just contacted me for another show, which will be definitely interesting. It's something we talked about at the beginning of this interview. So, that might be something that we might pick back up on if I decide to do that. So there's a lot of opportunities in film right now and television,
Good. Listen, you definitely belong on screen. There's no question about it. One, you have such a personality that it belongs on there. It's almost like it's being selfish not being on the screen. So
exactly.
So some major network needs to offer you as much money as they possibly can and literally get you in some sort of 10-year
honestly,
contract.
being on Amazon Prime and all the major streaming platforms is, everything is moving over to streaming. So yeah, these major networks are cool and all that, but a lot of people aren't on that anymore. They're watching streaming, Netflix and all that shit. So they're getting rid of the cable and not really even tuning into a lot of that shit. But
I love how you're your own promoter, like you're your own publicist. And speaking about publicists,
I'll never get another one. No, I have a cool friend, Johnny. He's on the up and up. He's a good publicist, but he's just more of a friend. But oh my God, that fucking crazy bitch.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. And the funny thing is, I've actually met 3 other people that have been bamboozled by her.
Yeah, a lot. Me too.
I was gonna invite them on here, to talk about it, but I was like, all right, because I'm not gonna even give her the satisfaction of even talking about it. That's why we're speaking about her in the third, or fourth person.
Because God knows she's probably spying and
probably. Oh my God! When I first got on Clubhouse, I pushed the alert all contacts, and I saw that she was one of them. I was like, undo.
Make it stop.
So I don't know if you know, because I can almost assume that she deleted the messages. You know that she stole your phone and texted me the most vile shit in the world, pretending to be you.
What?
Yeah. I've never had a chance to tell you this because I've never had a platform like a podcast that doesn't have many listeners on it.
We're gonna work on that. Don't worry.
So, for anything that had happened that she had portrayed me saying, like I was saying to you, I knew that she had taken your phone and texted me a whole bunch of fucking crazy shit. Like she was gonna expose fucking pictures of me and and this and that. So instead of
psycho.
Yeah, psycho. So I'm so glad that she's out of the picture because I loved the relationship that me and you had, and I'm so sorry that we had to take a little break because of that psycho bitch.
She called somebody I was working with from the police department in the Bronx for the domestic violence unit when I was out of town. She called them, wasted, and said, "Chrissy's landing at LaGuardia. We need all your men there for backup."
Oh my God.
And she texted me all this that she told me, she was happy to do it. She was proud that she's like, "I got your back, girl. I texted Sergeant such and such and told them to have all the backup waiting for you when you land, that you're going to be okay."
Listen, all I know is that she sent me a Photoshop picture of me on a billboard in Times Square and represented it like she got me on a billboard. I had me and my family, we went to Times Square to actually go see the billboard, waited there for hours, nothing there. And then I see 2 other people with the same exact picture, the same cars, the same fucking light post and everything with the Photoshop image. And that was when I fucking lost it. And I was like,
taking people's money.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's when I actually did the thing with the credit card. I called my credit card company and I said, which I had no idea that other person that I was associated with you did the same thing. So I didn't want you to think that I'm not even going to mention her name,
the little one with the brown hair,
whatever, dark skinned girl, we'll talk about it offline. But anyway, so but I'm glad that all that shit is over. That's all I could say.
They're all fucking crazy in this fucking industry. I'm telling you, I've never met them this nutty. No strip club.
I don't know what it is.
I'm telling you, man, this industry is crazy. They're fucking reckless. I'm telling you, I know drug dealers and prostitutes that got way more fucking morals and honors than these motherfuckers in this entertainment business. I'll tell you that.
That's a fact. We picked quite a racket to try to get into, with all the shit that both of us have been in, the fact that we're actually still here is a testament to how strong we really are. So, from me to you, I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure being able to catch up with you. Thank you for taking your time out. You have such an amazing story that there's so much more that we can get into, but I want everyone to get the book because that's really what it's all about. I mean, this is what's the name of the book? Did you come up with a creative title or is it just Life and Times of Chrissy?
I'm feeling between 3 different names and it'll be a surprise because I haven't really decided on one.
Okay.
But it's going to be a lot of really deep shit in there. And it's probably going to be great. And it's going to be very inspirational. Because
I wish you all the fucking luck in the world, because if anyone deserves the world, it's definitely you. You know, I mean, I've seen how hard you work. I see how motivated you are. I've seen everything that you've been through. And if there's one person that deserves that fucking stroke of fucking, good luck, based on her hard work and merit, it's definitely you. And I'm not just saying that to blow smoke up your ass or gain points, in your world. But it's the truth, though, because
I just never gave up. Yeah, bottom line, I just never gave up, and I don't listen to fucking what anybody tells me. And okay, it's your opinion, and you say I'm whack or I can't make it or give up. Fuck you.
That's right. Fuck them all.
I don't listen to what anybody tells me.
Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, how they can get involved, plug all the websites, everything that you need to.
So my Instagram is at Chrissy Monroe. Make sure you get the one with the blue check, because people make fake pages of me every day. Fucking weirdos. Who has time? So it's
verified.
Yes. So the one with the blue check, make sure at Chrissy Monroe. Let me see. Yes. Which would be this one. Okay.
Yes. See the blue check.
Yes. So make sure that. And then I have Survive to Thrive Global, which is my domestic violence foundation. It's purple and white. Okay. And then I have Chrissy's Food Fantasy, my food page. And then I have Serving Looks, which I'm building up now, which is the business I started when I got out of the hospital, which is blowing up, thank God, faster than I could. I have all these amazing, tonight I'm wearing Savage. This is one of my most popular colors. Lip glosses, lashes, cosmetic skincare. I have jewelry I'm about to put up. I got to send you one of these. Hold on.
Oh, who wears shorts?
I know, I do. That would be good for your male viewers.
Absolutely.
I'm just home chilling. I'm gonna have to send you one of these.
Age 24 to 32, they're gonna love that shit. Stop. That's fucking great.
Yes,
oh God.
And I made a song. It's actually on Spotify. It's called "Stop Stalking Me, Bitch." It's on there.
Oh, is it really?
I made it after I went on Dr. Phil. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think I remember that. Oh my God. I didn't know that it actually got to the social media platforms.
Spotify, yeah.
Okay.
People actually listen to it. I think 200 people listened to it last year in New Zealand or some shit.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up right there. Chrissy, listen, thank you so much. I'd love to have you back, to do an update, once all the success really comes, rolling in. I like to leave you with a quote that yes. I'm sure you apply to your life as I apply to my life. It's how I sign off, on all my shows. Basically, we are all just here for a small cup of coffee. I'm just trying to drink it while it's still hot. Oh. I'm your boy. I am JopauL. This has been the Verified Podcast. We were just chopping it up with the lovely Chrissy Monroe. Make sure you check out the verifiedpodcast.com. We are brought to you by Radio Pushers of Results and No Hype. We are also brought to you by Private Reserve East. That's why I look so fucking lit right now. I'm on fucking Pluto. You guys don't realize it, but I hold my tolerance, really, really good. But Chrissy, I love you for taking the time out. Yes, text me your new number. Let's definitely stay in contact. Let's definitely go get a drink. You get some crab legs, as soon as you're ready to come out. And I will talk to you soon. Everyone, I love you. Peace and love.